It's 5:15 p.m. on November 23rd, 1963, Greenwich Mean Time, and if you're a resident of the United Kingdom who happens to be tuned into the BBC, you're seeing...
Now, here's a special announcement.
Well, the tail end of a news report. It's the same one that's held the airwaves and the attention span of the entire free world for the last 22 hours.
Is a report of today's shooting in Dallas, Texas, within the last hour.
President Kennedy is dead.
At some point in the intervening time, you, or someone in your home, might have just turned off the set. Too much tragedy for one day. What a shame. People spend all their time making nice things only for someone else to come along and break them.
Programs tonight have been rearranged.
And what that means for our purposes is a lot of people missed seeing this. Because at around 5:16 p.m. and 20 seconds, regularly scheduled program resumes on the BBC. Only there's nothing regular about it. Now imagine you're watching this for the very first time. We've all seen it a billion times, but just go with me on this one. You might be wondering, what is this? How would you describe it? The word psychedelic wasn't really a thing yet, okay? Smoke? You know, the first TV picture ever sent was of smoke rising up out of an ashtray. Anyway, something is being born here. Strange sounds. A dark thrum. Is that a theremin? Not quite, but it sounds like it. Which means it sounds like science fiction. Okay. Doctor Who. Medical drama? Maybe. Okay, but the first thing we see is a police officer. So maybe this is a mystery? Is he gonna find a body? Is this CSI swinging Shoreditch? I am Foreman MD. I mean, I assume that's gotta be the main character. His name is featured very prominently here. I am Foreman. I am Foreman. I am Foreman. I am Foreman. I really hope they don't do anything with that ever.
It's a cookbook!
Okay. More darkness. More mystery. What is that? Why is there a police box in this junkyard? Why is it humming? Are we seeing this from the police officer's perspective, or are they trying to clue us in as to what's happening? Because who's this child and what's so unearthly about them? You'd bet anything this Dr. Foreman, clearly a medical detective of some sort, you know, a doctor who asks who, as in who done it, he's gonna crack the case of this mysterious unearthly child using his scientific knowledge. All right, is this child actually unearthly? And what do you mean by that? And the answer rather depends on what kind of show this is. And right now, in the span of one crossfade, it's gone from being a mystery to a school? Okay, a comprehensive school probably, because the kids aren't wearing uniforms. God, that kid's annoying.
Oi, Rhonda, ain't he a bit unearthly?
Okay, who are these people? Okay, teachers. They're worried about one of the girls, Susan Foreman.
Susan Foreman?
I am Foreman. Okay, hang on. I've got the Radio Times right here, and they're telling me that it's an adventure in space and time, starring the old geezer from Brighton Rock. Well, okay, because right now it looks like there's some kind of very serious drama about school teachers concerned about an odd student living in a junkyard who knows some things and doesn't know others, and if I didn't know better, I'd say this was a very well-meaning tale of a homeless girl with a genius IQ. Or maybe she's being kept there against her will. But time and space.
What do you make the fifth dimension?
Space.
Anyway, they follow her back to... She doesn't even know the UK doesn't have a decimal system of currency yet.
Of course the decimal system hasn't started yet.
What would I even mean by yet if I didn't know what was coming?
Suppose she couldn't be a foreigner.
She knows about time and space being the fourth and fifth dimensions. She knows a lot about chemistry and finds continuity errors in her French Revolution textbook. I mean, she's just a goofy kid who likes the rock and roll music too, right? Like John Smith and the Common Men. John Smith.
John Smith is the stage name of the Honorable Aubrey Waits.
Good generic name. Anyway, she lives with her grandfather who's, you know, he's kind of a piece of work, right? Like, he's denying to the school teachers that she exists or that they saw her come in. And he's totally gaslighting them, being evasive, treating them really condescendingly. But he's got a freaking police box in a junkyard at 76 Todders Lane, Shoreditch, London. Nothing in the middle. nothing at the end of the lane, and that nothing in the
Bigger,
middle is
bigger.
mystery, because maybe that nothing is a gap, a portal, a magical portal, a rabbit hole. What just happened? How did they fit the...
Is this really where you live, Susan? But it was just a box. How does this even
work? Discovered television, haven't you? No, this is nothing like television. Why? What the hell is this thing? Wait. Look around you, teachers. Be aware of your darn environment. Ian really doesn't get it, by the way. He might be a science teacher, but this is all a little bit too science-y, even for him, guys. You're in a future-y, scientific-y space room stuffed into a tiny little blue box, but you can't wrap your head around the idea that these people might be telling the truth. They might be from another time. They might be from another world.
Have you ever thought what it's like to be wanderers in the fourth dimension? Have you? To be exiles?
Doctor Who? We don't need to know. At this point in the production, no one knew.
But one day, we shall get back.
No one knew anything. No plans for big lore dumps, no season arcs, just let's fill some time between the football results and the Telegoons with some fun and occasionally educational sci-fi adventures. But instead of it being all spacemen from the future, it's two of your school teachers meeting two extraordinary but tangible people who, as far as we know, are, in fact, just people with the time machine. Gallifrey? What's that in Ireland or something? This isn't Dr. Foreman. Is there even an I Am Foreman? Well, you can ask Mad Larry in 4 years' time.
It's a circus in there, I tell you. But
he won't let them leave. What kind of jerk? They're trapped inside a mysterious box with this madman. A madman with a box. With a box. Okay. Ostensibly, this is made for kids, right? But if you look at it, it's directed more like a serious drama, one that matters with big capital letters. It's family television in the best sense. It's accessible and it wants you to take it seriously. The Susan cutaways, where Ian and Barbara are talking about all the weird stuff Susan did in class. Notice how the camera makes Susan stand out more and makes her questions and her responses seem more insistent, more strident, more strange. This side shot of Ian and Barbara in the car is absolutely perfect. They're detectives on the case. It looks like noir. We've started out a typical London mystery, found ourselves in a domestic drama / social realism piece about a strange kid at school, emerged into a noir, and then it resolves itself into a science fiction series. With a straightforward premise, this show can be anything. This was made out of sealing wax and spit and shoe polish and rubber bands strung together with string on a soundstage about the size of your living room, by the way. The show could go anywhere and do anything, and it has the most expansive open format for any show in history. You can literally tell any kind of story with this show. Heck, this first episode, not even the first serial, but the first episode has already cycled through so many influences, moods, textures, and energies, all while familiarizing us with the basic setup of the show within 25 minutes. We don't even know for certain that this thing is a space and time machine until the last couple minutes of the episode. And that's the start of a 57-year and counting long adventure told in every media format you can possibly think of. Before streaming, before binging, before complete season drops and social media and so on, before thousands of channels, there was a limited amount of space and you had to prove you belonged there, that your show mattered, that people would want to watch it. And visually, textually, everything here feels weird and new and fast and fascinating, but familiar. And that's even before we get into the damn spaceship. Yes, it's the first episode, but you don't actually have to watch An Unearthly Child to understand Doctor Who. At all, really. But everything you need to know about why the show works, when it works, is all here. A show that barely made it to the screen after a failed pilot, an international tragedy, a reluctant BBC, and dinkiest little TV studio in all of London. It's a legend now. It's up there with Robin Hood. And by the way, of course it all happened because Verity Lambert was a boss, and it looked so good because Waris Hussein was a genius at making art out of nothing, but that's a whole nother video. On its own, as a standalone piece of art, An Unearthly Child is probably the best first episode of anything in history. And that's why we're still here. Wanderers in the fourth dimension.